We are back at the fast lane, and we're in our final match of the night. Maru versus Deer, another PVT. I'm here with Rapid, bringing you guys these matches.
It feels as if this tournament was kind of made for me, Valdez.
It makes a little bit of sense, I'd say.
Rapidly through the fast lane. This is Maru, a player that, according to predictions, statistical analysis, Illegal Act, was predicted to get out first in his group, but no. Dark have other ideas, just outplayed him every turn, really cool to watch. And this guy, Deer, a player that was supposed to be the first player eliminated from this group, now has made it here and is moments away from potentially making it into SSL Premier.
Yeah, stats, they only tell you the past. Sometimes they don't tell you how the games are going to work out or where these players are on that particular day. So here's the map list: Daybreak, Newkirk Precinct, Abyssal Reef, all maps that we've seen. I feel like we've seen these 3 exact maps for the best of 3s, for 3 of the best of 3 series already. So definitely more of these more popular maps in the pool.
Hey, at least none of them is Blood Boil. That would be very difficult.
Yeah, that would suck
to overcome. Especially for Deer, man. He's got to go up against Maru on his first map pick once again was Newkirk Precinct. Probably a map that he struggled on. We'll see if he can take Daybreak, which is map number 1 in our final best of 3. Fly butterfly.
Nope.
No fly butterfly here. All right, we're going to get into our first game of our last series. Our Blue Terran player is Maru.
His opponent in the yellow trunks, it is Deer.
Hey, there we go. As soon as I did my drum roll, all the Korean casters just like looked over me, just like,
You can't be that excited.
Shh. Be very quiet. We're hunting Wascoey Protosses.
You don't want to tell him anything.
Can't give anything away just yet. All right, so TVP. This is going to be really cool for a couple of reasons.
How cool?
I have to justify ice cold. How cool? Ice cold. That's how cool it's going to be. So we get to compare a couple of different styles. Deer just finished taking out Classic, illustrating which style in the mirror matchup was superior in the end. But now he gets to go up against Maru, a guy that Classic was faced off against in probably our most epic series of the night, with a little bit of a different flavor underway here. So he'll get in once again with this early pro. It'll force the power of friendship to come to bear to protect that SCV building the barracks. But what is most interesting to me is, are we going to see Deer go for that same sort of timing pressure that he used to win his way here? Classic definitely did not expect that much aggression right then. Had these disruptors. Once you miss the Purification Nova, all of a sudden they don't work. And so similarly to like Dark's play styles, like as soon as there's that opportunity to win, you go for it. Does Deer have that same aggressive instinct versus Maru?
I mean, I think he does, especially in these matches against Terran. I think he feels a little bit less comfortable sitting back, macroing up, trying to defend against all the drops, especially on a map like Daybreak where you can have your main Doom dropped pretty easily. Maru, not necessarily that style. He definitely, as we saw in the series against Classic, he just loves to go head-to-head, get those Widowmines, Liberators, Marauders, and just pick away at your units, take good trades over and over and over again, and then sometimes, occasionally, throw in a drop if the timing is right. But Stargate, always, of course, flavor of the month in this matchup, and Deer's going to start off with that.
And we should maybe see a Widowmine be in production as a way of dealing with that initial Oracle, should that be what's coming up. But no! In fact, we are lifting to reactor out Hellions. Hellions.
Okay.
This is a really cool choice. We've seen it a couple times in Premiere. Some Protosses like to do that, or some Terrans like to do that, because a lot of times you'll send your early Oracle across the map, and there's just not a lot to keep your worker line safe.
Especially if the Adepts are across the map too, and as long as you can get some nice defense yourself with, you do see Maru switching back and starting his Marine production and Widowmines here. 2 Hellions really just going to get on the map, put on a little bit of pressure, but also cause the Protoss to freak out a little bit, force his mining, or rather his multitasking towards the front. And you can also get a Reaper into the main just like he's doing, so you can get some really nice scouting information.
Probes being pulled, kind of lining up, a few of them. Couple going down. Will he get the big final hits to really close that out? Reaper getting a kill there in the main, and finally one Hellion gets taken out, but overall 5 probes lost.
Super worth for Maru. I mean, he gets all the scouting information in the world. He kills 5 probes. He forces a pull, forces the Adepts back, sees the Oracle coming out, and he will be prepared back at home.
Widowmine guesses wrong as far as positioning, and that is going to give this Oracle a little bit of annoyance in the base, stopping that barracks from being completed. And I thought actually Deer was going to go a little bit more aggressively forward, but no, he wisely pulls back and keeps that Hellion from getting in there for extra damage.
It looks like that Widowmine got 1 kill on an Adept and hurt the other one.
Aww.
And the Oracle was low on energy because it had to fight the Reaper in the main, that first Oracle. So when it got to the main of Maru, it could only kill 2 SCVs and back off.
Very fortunate there for Maru. They didn't take more damage after being so aggressive with those Hellions. He did get the damage done and only lost a couple of SCVs for it. So, I mean, the worker count looks a little bit more distant than I would have necessarily expected after you losing so many probes, but such is the power of Chrono Boost. And now we finally get to see the big play that Maru is going to go for. Ooh, double reactor. It's going to be a lot of bio.
He's powering up right now. Gonna throw a second Rax on that tech lab. Start to get his combat shields upgrade as well. And what kind of style is Maru going to bring in here? Is he just going to stay on 2 bases for a long time, pressure the 3rd, and go from there, maybe float his main eventually? Or is he going to do what he did a lot against Classic and start a 3rd base, try to put on some more less aggressive pressure, I suppose, while really macroing up back at home and showing that he's not scared of the late game against Protosses? It's really the question for me here. Right now, it looks like he's just powering up once again.
So Zealot charge on the way. It always, it's always very distinctive of a Protoss player's play style. Where do you mix that in? It used to be that unless you just really needed that, a lot of times it was just skipped as an upgrade. Now it's a lot cheaper, so you see it a lot more likely. And several Protoss versus Terran have tried to do this style where you rush an early Warp Prism and get early Zealot speed drops into the Terran main base. Now, thankfully, we don't have to watch that anymore. I think Classic tried that several times, and it just did not work. So glad to see that that is not still the purpose here, but when you do have these additional charge zealots, a lot of times they'll charge in on the bio ball as it tries to run backwards and could even draw Widowmine fire back there too. So nice to have that more inexpensively, less expensively, however you want to spin that one. But this is a big push out for Maru as he finally tries to make his way out across the map, put the pressure on to Deer.
Yeah. So I asked that question before. Are we going to see that 3rd base coming up fast? The answer is no. He wants to hit this timing with huge amounts of bio. No Liberators just yet. Adding in a bunch of medevacs first. And coming forward before Maru is ready is Deer. Wants to snipe some of these units. Takes out the Viking.
Widowmine's burrowed very far behind. What on earth is that? How do you not expect it? What
That's
a
gonna buy him
stasis.
so much time.
And he kills off the Oracle, so it's going to be harder to reveal that. So, I mean, a little bit of turnabout there, but nothing fair about that play. Stasis field so good.
He's going to get a full surround on this bio. I'm just worried about, is it enough Protoss units?
He's going to try to stim his way back on out of there. Force field making it a little bit more difficult, but Deer just rolling over Maru.
My question was answered. It was more than enough Protoss units as he gets totally surrounded and outplayed. Really, Deer kind of styling on Maru, and Maru not respecting the stasis wards at all. Just walking straight into that one.
Maru's going to dial that 911, get some emergency reinforcements in here. I don't know. That is about the best case scenario you can ever expect. I don't think I have seen a better PVT stasis ward than that. Somebody out there, find me a VOD of something that looks sicker, more revolting than what we just witnessed there.
More revolting.
Dear God. He is so good. Gets the hit that he needs, takes out Maru's army. Okay, well, that's not quite the hit you were looking for. But Deer defends, gets his third base up, and that is a big investment that Maru made into not taking a third that didn't pay off.
So on Daybreak, when you hold a push like that, you're in a really awesome spot. I mean, we see Deer, he's transitioning into many different techs. He got Templar Archives, he has Archons on the way, he's getting double Forge eventually here.
Warp in the main, or at least just dropping off these Speed Zealots. Warp Prism goes right through the turret and will power up for another round of Zealots there. But at the same time, Maru coming back. This push will not be quite as effective, but there's very little anti-air in Deer's army.
4 Stalkers being warped in. Looks like 11 SCVs went down there. Gonna scan and take out the stasis ward, so that's not happening a second time.
Whoa, the Widowmine fire actually does deal a lot of friendly fire. Not a lot to deal with these Liberators as they get a ton of value. Finally, the Stalker warp in from behind takes them out. The turrets will not complete, but there's enough bio to push Deer back again.
Wow, Deer really confidently just walking forward, and even though it looked a little bit overconfident, taking out those Liberators definitely will help. And once he gets the Disruptors and an extra warp in, he should be in a decent spot. He's holding on here.
I mean, the Disruptor's not out yet, Valdez. We'll need to get them in order to defend just the knife's edge of timings here. If Maru just forces forward, might hit before the Disruptors come to bear, but it looks like just barely. They will be out in time.
Yeah, Disruptors come out, and the Overcharges are buying Deer a ton of time here. The thing is that against Maru, Maru is so good at dodging Disruptor shots that I wouldn't expect this to do too much damage.
He needs to use those Purification Overs to take out the Widow Mines from behind, but I don't think he has an Observer to see exactly where they are, and indeed our Observer's showing that the Observer is in fact far afield to the right-hand side, so Maru will continue to push forward with those Liberation Zones zoning for him as he does try to pull back. Now there is a Zealot warp in that's going to eliminate some of these reinforcements. Classic finally starting to push forward, but the Widow Mines will be effective enough to stop that in its tracks.
Okay, this Disruptor shot.
Oh my God!
There wasn't enough medevac.
Again! Maru! A literal god!
That was
my God! Maru! What are you doing?
That was a huge mistake. I mean, he just dropped it right on top of the ball.
I mean, 991.
Number one was, yeah, okay. Maru didn't have enough medevac space, but number 2, my mouth is agape, Reed.
Indeed.
I don't know what to say.
Agog, dare I say, Brendan. Previously, 911 was the number. Now you got to dial 281-330-8004 because that's about the only way that you can possibly get back into this game. Looking for a possible Doom drop. Turns out the Doom a lot less doomy. When you did lose all of your forces there to 2 Disruptor shots. What what a hold.
Keep in mind, okay, that was a pretty crazy moment, right? But that was Maru's basically his all-in, right? He needed to hit the timing, kill the Disruptors, and shut down the third base. But he did exactly the opposite. Deer keeps his third base. He's adding a 4th. Maru doesn't have a third base to fall back on. He's desperately trying to take his own follow-up base. But now Deer up 50 supply. That might just be the end of game 1.
Both times that Deer has held off very strong Maru pushes, it's just been a miracle. First, it's that crazy stasis ward. Next, it's not 1 but 2 crazy purification novas. And now Maru pushing forward again. I mean, what miracle does Deer pull out of his hat this time, Valdez?
Well, I don't think he needs a miracle in this game to win it anymore.
Just got a bunch of stuff. Another purification nova connecting there off behind. Double Colossus, extended Thermal Lance, about halfway completed, as well as +1/+1, or +2, there we go, on the way. More and more Novas pushing Maru back. He's got to respect that, but he does keep pressing ever forward. Stalkers taking out one of those Liberators.
Yeah, Deer just has to play it a little bit, you know, more patiently. He doesn't need to run underneath the Liberators. Wait until Maru tries to overcommit with the Liberators and then go. And that's what he did right here. Looks like he is going to go for the fight. It's enough. GG.
G.
Deer takes game number 1.
The G'est of G's. In fact, Valdez, look at Deer go. Game number 1. And just what an exciting, explosive turn of events we have found ourselves. 1 game away from Deer advancing on to SSL Premier, a player that we didn't even expect to make it into the top half of the Premier standings.
Yeah.
Barely makes it in there, steps up his game, and now he's 1 step away from promoting.
Yeah, again, I'll say it again. He's on a roll, right? He takes out Hero 3-1 in a best of 5, takes out Byun 3-0. Against another extremely strong Terran, one of the big 4, you know, the 4 horsemen. And now he's doing it to Maru. Maru has to win 2 in a row. He doesn't look all that confident there on the left. I hope he puts some more thought into these next couple of games.
1 game is possibly all that's left. Can Maru bring it back? You can see that look on his face, I think tells the tale. Valdez shaking his head a little bit, not happy with the way that game number 1 went. He's got 1 game to turn things around, so let's get into our second game this series. Maru versus... Oh, I thought it was... Okay, Deer. There we go. Just when you think you're handing it off, you get back into it again.
I give you the blank stare instead.
Great
That's the handoff.
there. Oh man, look at Maru and his pursed lips. It's like, man, I just didn't split correctly enough. Nothing going right. Just a split, Maru. It's okay. His opponent, Deer.
And look at the response. He's mad. He is angry.
Hey, that was the power that Dark channeled to overcome Maru in the first place. Maybe a little bit of it rubbing off as Maru now a little bit angry too.
Yeah, and the thing about Maru is he has done this before on this map many times. Newkirk Precinct, I think, is Maru's most common map to go for this kind of cheese. So he, you know, he could be mad. I'm sure he is very angry, but I wouldn't assume that he's only doing this build because of that anger or that frustration. It's just going to be 1 Reaper. No crazy double racks, triple racks, anything like that out on the map. And Deer will go ahead and scout across the map too.
Okay, well, how effective is this going to be? Every time I see proxy racks, I always think, oh, it's going to be a Reaper, and then they build like a bunch of Marines. And then maybe if it's Byun, then he builds like proxy Marauders. You never know what's going to come through that door or out of the barracks, as the case may be. The probe shows up, and all of a sudden there's nothing to push it back. He will see that there is no barracks and know that there are shenanigans afoot, as shenanigans are wont to be.
Yeah, and he can be annoying here with this probe. He's actually sending out a second probe in the wrong direction. That's unfortunate.
No, saddest little probe. He will not find anything too crazy. Scouting around, maybe expecting things like a proxy of his own. That's what's coming down.
All right, yeah. Should have seen that coming. He's got double gas here. I was just a little bit distracted, and this could definitely catch Maru off guard. If these Reapers don't do damage, the Oracle could just wreck the base. There's nothing in the main right now for Maru. There's only a factory on the way.
Oh man, yeah, and even replacing the barracks, it's like re-whatting is that doing? It's going to land and block any attempt at a natural expansion. That won't be coming up for a while. The Reaper is in only 1 Zealot there to defend. Already
getting 2 probe kills. Adept will come out, and Reaper should get away.
No. Yes.
Nope.
Just no. Wow.
Nice.
Shade into alley-oop.
Maru with the scout doesn't see it.
Oh,
he's going to be kicking himself for that scout when he watches the replay. That is so close. So close.
And yet so far, Valdez. Will we see a gateway warped in here for proxy pressure? Might just, see it at that, but here we go. First Oracle on the way. Cyclone in production for Maru, though, so he will have the potential to deal with it.
But again, the tickle shot of the Cyclone. Once this barracks comes in here, I think he should have a good idea of what's going on. Gets a full scout, sees the double gas mining, and needs to set up some kind of defense back at home. He's going to make a second Cyclone. is the answer. He's keeping it in position and just wants to lock on right away to deter as much damage as possible. And there is the lock on. Deer's just going to ignore it for now, try to get as many kills as possible. Already getting up to 6. That's going to be 6. In total, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Look at the
12.
cyclone. Oh no, it's the saddest little cyclone in the world. Turns out you can sit an Oracle over a mineral line with a lock-on on and kill 12 probes, or
yeah, and
SCVs.
he messed up his micro one time as well.
That's
He could have
true.
gotten 13.
13 or 14, maybe 15. Here comes Oracle number 2. This time there's 2 cyclones. Still damage being done, Valdez.
Yeah, gonna try to keep this one alive, but he will not. I think he should have just committed to the damage. Easy to say after the fact.
Well, the resources lost from that scan also is harassment done, because that's one
True.
less mule. So in a way, he's just taken another hit from not having that. There 14 SCVs going down from that proxy. Comes in again with another Oracle. This time there's a Viking.
Phoenix on the way. And what a weird spot to be in this game. I mean, Maru did have a second orbital ready and making SCVs at the same time, so he can kind of mitigate the damage just a bit.
The landed Viking. What a meme. Trying to take out the proxy. Will not be able to, just has to pull back to the defense of those 2 cyclones. However, there's more on the way. Deer not letting up the pressure just yet.
Lots of units just streaming across the map.
Kind of strange to see from a Protoss, as they do not usually stream units.
The parade push of the Protoss. Taking out the pylon is actually really nice. Stops out a bunch of the production from the Stargate. But look at the lock-on. Takes out even the Phoenix here, too. Deer not focusing on one unit. Does a bunch of damage to the medevac first.
The Oracle's going to kill 2 cyclones.
Oh, meanwhile.
Oh,
okay.
no.
I think that's just the follow-up. Too much damage done. And Deer looking to take the 2-0 victory over Maru here in the final match.
I mean, back then in the era of challenge, we might not have wanted Deer, but now, I mean, everybody all on him. It's GG. Deer 2-0s Maru to advance to SSL Premier Season 2.
What a beast. Does it 2 in a row. Reading Maru really well in that second series. Good scout.
He's all grown up, Valdez.
He makes it to Premier after being in challenge for 1 whole season. Our first player to do it.
Just so impressive. Really, really cool to see the rise of the Deer. This is where the Deer runs into the forest. The hunters try to shoot it, and the Deer pulls out a shotgun and gets the damage done himself. Takes out the Terran powerhouse Maru. Now has been eliminated from day 1 of the fast lane, and has to go to day number 2 in order to advance. And that means that we get to hear from Deer to see how he feels about a very strong performance here today.
Maru with a bit of an embarrassed smile there at the end. I have to say, again, game 1, Deer, he made a couple of mistakes, but Maru dropping the ball, or literally, quite literally, dropping his Marauders and Marines on top of a Disruptor ball and saying, here, take my units. This was my one chance. You take them. And mistakes like that will definitely cost you games and force you in a position where you cheese in game 2 and get behind. But good reads by Deer, good hold. And we're going to be hearing from our second player to secure his spot in the Premier League.
So let's go ahead and hear from Deer. So first off, congratulations, Deer. How do you feel?
원래 첫 번째 시즌에 프리미어 못 올라왔을 때 사실 프리미어 못 올라갈 줄 알았거든요. 아예. 근데 이렇게
Deer saying, you know, when I failed to make it into Premier for Season 1, I really never thought I would make it there. So I'm absolutely overjoyed that I made it in this time.
많이 더우셨나요?
네, 그런 것도 있고.
Now, Deer, you know, we could all,
오늘
you know, kind of
정말
see,
열심히 준비했거든요. 그래서 이겨서 더
you know, how
네, 정말 옆에서
difficult
보니까 열기가
those
느껴지는 느낌이 듭니다.
games were. Maybe it's a different, Deer saying, well, maybe it's a change in the hot weather that I prepared very hard for today.
It's getting hot.
Feels it in his bones. I don't know. Now, first off, you won a PvP against Classic. How did you feel about that?
대기실에서 왜 내려왔냐 하면서 그냥 서로 약간 디스했는데 그래도
Deer kind of saying, we kind of made fun of each other in our confusion about asking just kind of, what are we doing here in this fast lane? But in the first set of that series, a great stasis ward, or of the next series that he played, kind of transitioning, talking about that 6 stasis ward that he had against Maru. Kind of jump topics there a little bit. So you're saying, I could kind of see Maru moving in with his push, so I thought that he would probably just walk right into it, and he did.
The Maru counter, 1 stasis ward.
So how did you feel closing out that match in game 2?
상대한테 그 해방선 좀 쪼이기 타이밍을 준 것 같은데 그런 점은 좀 고쳐야 될 것 같아요.
You're saying I must have been pretty excited because I made a couple of mistakes of my own. And I gave Maru a couple of opportunities to kind of seduce me with his medevacs.
경력을 구성하는 걸 많이 볼 수가 있거든요. 근데 오늘 좀 특이했어요. 돌진 광정사를 많이 사용을 하시고 분열기도 사용하시더라고요.
Now, Deer also opting to use a lot of charge zealots in his builds.
사도가 그렇게 나쁘진 않은데 그래도 돌진이 버프되고 나서
And Deer's saying that adepts are not that bad against Terran, but he really prefers charge zealots in that matchup. And especially when coupled with Phoenixes, I feel like charge zealots are much more effective than adepts.
분열기는 그 타이밍에 원래 거신을 갈 생각이었는데 위험해가지고 빠르게 나오는 게
As for the added disruptors, I was thinking about going Colossi, but I wanted something that would be a little bit more reliable and steady as an option, so I went for disruptors.
Interesting point of view here.
Hey, it's a point of view that works, Valdez.
Comments on that a little bit later.
This is a results-oriented mindset we have here.
그렇다고 생각하시나요?
신영 형한테 지지 않았나요?
김대엽 선수로 알고 있는데.
대엽이 형한테 졌습니다.
그렇습니다. 김대엽 선수에게 졌습니다.
Talking about, Stats was the one that beat Deer in the offline qualifiers to knock him down to challenge. Deer was a little bit confused about exactly who he lost against, but saying, hey, Stats knocked you down to challenge. Now you're going to be facing off against Stats in Premier. Do you have any words for the guy that knocked you out of Premier last season? You're saying, Stats is a close friend. We talk a lot, but when I see him in the studio, he's going to be my enemy. So I'm going to hold that against him. Does this look like the face of mercy? Maybe. So of course, after beating Classic, that means Classic's going to Fast Lane Day number 2. So do you have any message for Classic? And Deer saying, Classic's also a really good friend. So I know he has to play on Thursday. So I really hope that he makes it out. Now, Deer lives very far away from the Nexon Arena, apparently. So he has a very long way home. So he has to come a very long distance to SSL Premier. So did you have any thoughts while you were making that journey? Deer saying, I decided to make today really count. I'm going to make Premier really count by going to the finals. So saying, good plan, Deer, and congratulations for advancing on to SSL Premier as our second player, along with Dark, to make it out of our group. So let's go ahead and take a quick recap of exactly how that happened. Dark took out Deer, Maru took out Classic, then Dark advanced, then Deer advanced twice to make it to Fast Lane, or Premier Season 2. There we go.
Yeah, makes it on, him and Deer. The 2 Ds.
There we go.
Making it on. The C and the M, not so good today.
Awesome.
They're going to have to go to Fast Lane Day number 2 to go up against Beyond and Patience. Should be another great day there. Both Classic and Maru, 2 of the guys that I thought perhaps might make it out tonight. But they will have another chance on Thursday. That'll be as well at 7 p.m. here at the Nexon Arena.
Yep, so that would be the normal time slot that we would broadcast SSL Classic in. You guys are used to watching that tournament. This time we'll have Fast Lane Day 2. Maru versus Byun and Classic versus Patience. So can't wait to see how Patience and Byun kind of fare here. I feel like Byun versus Maru is just going to be such a sick matchup to watch. Another battle of two of the Terran Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, and
awesome.
I would favor Byun slightly on that one, although he did look kind of weak getting 0-3'd by Deer on his last showing in SSL series, so definitely has a lot to prove to his fans and everybody else. He just barely made it through. Because of that 0-3, he almost got knocked down and was not even given a chance to make it into Fastlane, but thankfully he is here. I definitely think he deserves to be at least in SSL Premier, so we'll see if he can make it through. We're going to start that day off with the TVT of Maru versus Byun, and then Classic versus Patience. Definitely Patience, the one kind of dark horse that I think will have a bit of trouble to make it through that group. A very stacked group indeed.
Certainly is. You guys don't want to miss that. It'll be a 7 p.m. KST on Thursday. Thanks for watching tonight. We hope to see you there.